Hi everyone, it's Jack from techtrending.com. Today I'm showing a demo with Jim Wrubel, founder of SpyGlasses. SpyGlasses is an AI SEO analytics tool. I actually met Jim on Reddit last week. We connected over our shared interest in how AI is changing SEO and go-to-market strategies. A couple of days later, we jumped on a call, hit record, and here we are. This is part one, which focuses on the demo. Let's dive in.
So SpyGlasses actually arose out of my startup, which is a pivot. I had originally started as a kind of an AI-powered all-in-one marketing platform. Great idea, very, very crowded space, struggled to gain traction and iShare and all of those things. A couple of months ago, I was on a prospect call and I asked them, how'd you find me? And they said, ChatGPT. I accused them of lying, which I do not recommend doing in a prospect call under normal circumstances. But I was convinced that there was no way that I was in ChatGPT. But it turned out to be true. What I did is I went in and I put a little plugin on my original marketing site and found out that I was getting hundreds of citations in ChatGPT. And I had no idea because those visits from AI don't show up in Google Analytics at all. They don't show up in PostHog. They don't show up in any other traditional analytics tool you're using. They're essentially invisible to you without a specific tool to monitor them. So fast forward a few months and I made that tool and it's called SpyGlasses. And what it does is it tracks every time your site is mentioned in an AI chat from ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Google Gemini, whatever have you. And it tracks it and it gives it to you in a nice dashboard and it connects it back into your primary analytic platform.
That's brilliant. Thanks for the introduction. Quick overview of myself. I'm a former B2B SaaS marketer of 13 years. Previously to that, I was working in B2C marketing. Now I'm founder of Tech Trendin, a go-to-market community where you can track go-to-market tools, trends, and playbooks. I'm super excited about the AI search space, or GEO, AI SEO, or AEO, or any of the other terms it's been given. And I've given Jim some of my requirements. Essentially, those are, how can I track AI citations across the LLMs, such as ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and all the others? How can I optimize my content strategy to get AI citations as well? Jim can obviously help with that in terms of playbooks and tactics that he might be able to recommend, and maybe we can talk about that at the end if we get time. So I think if we just run over a demo of your platform, then Jim, it'd be really good to kind of see how it works. And you can obviously run through some of the solutions or challenges people have.
I'm going to flip into the actual product itself. Gives you a sense. I've got obviously a number of properties here. Properties just an individual website, but I find I can demo pretty well just on the SpyGlasses platform itself. It's a good representative example of any sort of SaaS tool that's out there. This is my actual last 30-day total bot traffic.
Right.
So this encompasses not just AI visits and chats, but SpyGlasses will actually track how often you appear in AI model trainers. So is your content being indexed to actually improve the AI models, which you may or may not want? Are you search engine crawlers? There's my AI visitors, bots we don't know about, and it breaks these things down. So I can look at an overview. I could, drill in to see which crawlers are actually hitting my site. There's SEO tools. There's Ahrefs, Magic, SEMrush, all of these things. I can also look at individual pages if I want. So I can scroll through my pages, or one thing that I can do is I can actually look for intent. So I can understand like how many people are actually hitting my site looking for pricing information, which is an interesting thing there, or individual pages or informational or those kind of things as well. And if I wanted to care about this, I could also see like what countries are they coming from. What we're here to really dig into is our AI traffic. So we have a special dashboard just for AI. This is in the last 7 days, I've had, 1,387 AI visits. This unfortunately only resulted in one human referred visit, but I'm finding that that's happening more and more, is that AI is sort of eating your top of funnel and even middle of funnel. Like people are doing research when they're looking for products,
That's
finding
a
them.
good point, actually, because you're
Yeah.
talking about kind of AI search and kind of servicing your products in these AI tools. I'm talking about ChatGPT and so forth. Are we kind of turning into a situation where it's going to be no clicks almost? It's going to be mentions inside
Yes.
the tools. Obviously, there's
Yep.
citations, there's links coming out to your, being mentioned, but are people actually clicking?
You're absolutely right. They're talking about 0-click conversions. Folks will do all of their research in the inside of that chat and only actually click through to the one page that they're actually interested in once they've
Yeah.
finished. I think, when you think about someone doing a search for like best wireless headphones under $200 or something like that, ChatGPT will go out and it will do a lot of homework for you. It will search ranking sites, third parties, pull everything together, give you budget options, give you things based on noise cancellation or individual criteria. It's all presented in this large summary document. Whereas if you're using a search engine, you might have to click through 10 different sites to compile all that yourself. Those are 9 clicks that are not going to a site anymore.
Yeah. So talking from a commerce perspective, you're kind of likely to more click at the one at the top that's being recommended the most, and then kind of maybe convert on that one. So
Yeah, absolutely true. So that's one of the reasons why being able to measure your AI traffic is important, because those visits are still happening, but they're now invisible to you. So if you can actually track that, then you can fill in that missing, wedge of your total traffic on your site, really understand again how you're being actually used across the board. The same kind of thing here. I can look for, individual, pricing intent or purchase intent or homepage intent and all that. I can change the number of visits. So, you can actually see weekends in your traffic as well. So, just super useful information. And we can export it to CSV or, an image so you can, present this to your boss if that's something that's of importance to you. And soon we'll have connections to things like Looker Studio and those kind of things. So you can actually pull it into an analytics dashboard.
Awesome.
The other thing that I find to be very interesting, and this is one of those that I did not actually think was going to be useful data, is recrawl frequency. You can track all bots. You can say, how often do they come back and visit your site?
Oh, wow.
So across every page on your site, you can say, all right, my homepage and my language homepage is crawled every day, basically by one or more bots.
So your platform is able to identify how often the AI bots are kind of crawling your site.
Yep. Or Google, something that, you've been marketing for quite a while. You probably have this sense as well, is when I make an update to my site, how long before that's reflected in a Google search or Bing or wherever you want to know about it. So if I can know that every 11 days Googlebot crawls my entire site, that's useful to me. That tells me, okay, if I make a change, don't bother trying to measure my, the impact of that until Google's actually had a chance to ingest it and pull it back into their index. So
definitely.
that becomes a cadence for your SEO strategy.
Find myself looking in Google Search Console quite a bit. So you might have written a blog or a certain particular page that's kind of got a good domain kind of quality or rating.
Yes. So I guess the answer, previous to the rise of AI, I would have said, of course, right? That's your SEO strategy. Find rank possibility keywords, build content to aim for them, get top of funnel traffic that converts down the funnel and eventually turns into customers. I'm not so sure anymore that that's the best strategy.
Right.
And that's just because, again, AI is eating top of funnel, especially when you think about by intent, right? Informational intent. When I filter here, these are all pages that are pure informational intent. These are used to be that a tiny percentage of those would turn into product awareness and then click-throughs and things like that. It's gone. That top of funnel informational stuff is going to happen entirely within the chat now.
Wow.
So that's where third-party authority comes into play, right? So you can engage in Reddit, Quora, the various communities, and get interactions with real people. And that content actually gets ingested and it gets married with the rest of your content. So it becomes context for the AI around your brand.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds awesome. I do have a quick question just regarding that as well. Sometimes I've been hyperlinking it, sometimes I haven't. You don't really need to hyperlink it, do you? You can just mention it and AI search is picking that up, right?
You're absolutely correct most of the time. Yes, AI, because underlying the large language model is this concept of like a knowledge graph, right? It knows that your company, Tech Trendin, is an entity that is, it operates under this person and is this domain name. So a mention of it will be attached to the entity, which will reflect back to your website, as long as it can be associated with you without the link, right? Without the full domain name. So if your product has a generic name, then you may very well not be able to do that. You might need that link.
Yeah, got it. Okay, sounds good.
Last thing I want to talk about, and there's certainly with AI in general, there's lots of controversy around the ethics of that as a technology. So some folks are out there who have content that they actually prefer not to have in AI models.
Okay.
So one of the things you can do with SpyGlasses is just block them. Just one click, save it, and now no AI traffic, no AI model trainer traffic coming to your site will be able to ingest your content.
Wow.
But AI visitors, you can still, by default, AI visitors are allowed.
Yes.
I know Cloudflare and a couple of other sites have come out with tools to also allow you to block, AI from accessing your site, but they don't make a distinction between being cited in ChatGPT and updated by the model. So you have to be kind of careful with those.
Makes sense. I know that Amazon is blocking kind of ChatGPT and Claude from kind of crawling its site. I think even Shopify was looking into it as well. So it's interesting. Are you getting examples of customers using this feature to block this activity?
Yeah, any creative works, folks who are illustrators, writers, bloggers that don't want their material, they charge subscriptions and things like that. Obviously, they're trying to keep their stuff completely out of the AI. So that's really where it comes to. B2B companies that are selling, you want your name everywhere. So you probably don't want to do that. The last thing I had to show here, it's kind of hard to demo, but I'll at least speak to it, is this idea of being able to connect your Google Analytics.
Right.
So Google Analytics has this technology called measurement protocol that allows you to send events to it. One of the things that we do as well is allow you to connect your Google Analytics to SpyGlasses so that AI visits are actually sent in and fill in the rest of your graph. You don't have to come here in the dashboard to see your AI traffic. It just shows up in Google Analytics.
That's brilliant. Can you kind of track conversions? For example, I mean, what are conversions in terms of, I guess they're clicks, right? From humans, is that one?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would consider an AI conversion to be a referred visit, somebody who clicks through to your site from a chat. And so you want to kind of maximize those. But one thing that you can do with SpyGlasses now is give yourself an AI funnel that goes all the way from a mention in a chat to a click through, which can be tracked in other analytics all the way to a purchase.
Oh, wow.
Once you can do that, you can now actually generate some sort of a revenue expectation from your AI traffic, the same way that you could from other sources back in the olden days, as it were.
Brilliant. So is that some kind of implementing some kind of event tracking on Google Analytics, perhaps, or some conversion tracking on a form, for example, and it kind of gets fed through from your site to Google Analytics via your connector, and then you can kind of put it in GEO, I imagine.
Yeah, that's correct. So this is how we teach you to do it in our docs, is how to create an audience for your AI traffic. So walk through, use the signal, create an audience here, get your AI visitor. And
this looks very optimized for an AI search.
It is. Yes. Yes, absolutely. When we send over traffic, we use measurement protocol to mark it as part of a campaign. So it will track based on the bot, based on the platform and so forth. And then you save it. And then once that is created, you can then track it here. And if you have a conversion event already defined in Google Analytics, it will show you what portion of the AI traffic actually made it through to that purchase button or whatever it is on your site.
That's incredible. That's really cool. I love that. It's really good for marketers who obviously want to analyze that. So yeah, it's kind of,
yeah. This is trying to make your AI traffic behave, for lack of a better word, as like the rest of your traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. In terms of setting it up, this is, one of the pieces. I don't want to say it's challenging, but this is a case where you do need to have the marketer who has the business interest, and then you need to have somebody who can actually install a plugin on your site.
I like a go-to-market engineer.
Unfortunately, it's not as easy as Google Analytics, where you just get a little piece of, a little JavaScript, and put it in the web page. This actually needs a plugin because it needs to track things that can't be tracked in the same way. So if you have a WordPress site, we actually have an official plugin. You could just go and download, plug it in and all that. But depending on your platform, if you have Python, we have a package that you can install. You take the package, install it, follow the instructions, and then you use the API key, and that's how you install it.
Awesome. Okay. That sounds good. I guess it's pretty much self-serve, but the implementation side of it is just kind of having a little bit more technical know-how on some of these ones where you want to install it on Next.js or Python website.
Yeah, that's been one of the biggest barriers, not just to this type of platform, but to anyone who has this sort of analytics focus in the AI space, is you have to actually be able to get access to the requests that don't show up in Google Analytics, which takes a little bit more technical savvy.
But I'm pretty sure if you have someone technical, that can be done pretty quickly. I've been through implementation. It takes 2 months with some products in the past, if not longer. So
it is pretty quick. We do have, and all of the plugins I will say are open source. So if there's any concerns about security or what is this doing behind the scenes, you can inspect them. It's completely transparent.
Okay. Should we talk a little bit about pricing whilst you've got that up there?
The basic tracking is $29 a month. We do offer a free trial, so there's no risk involved, no credit card involved. You actually get access to our pro plan, which includes the Google Analytics connection, as well as being able to send traffic over for, that's $199 a month. And if you choose not to, for paid plan, you drop down to a free tier, which is basically limited to like 1,000 tracked events per month. So you'll still get some value out of that.
Sounds good. I'm just having a look at one of those line items. It says send AI visits to your primary analytics package. We just talked about Google Analytics. What kind of other systems can you, or simply have some kind of integration?
There you go. PostHog, still actually working on Plausible and Mixpanel. We have connectors for them. We just don't have any customers yet. So if you happen to be using those, the two that we find though, Google Analytics is the dominant force in the market. Something like 80% of folks, just because it's free. But I personally use PostHog on my SpyGlasses site. I found it to be easier to use, easier to surface conversion events. Feel like Google Analytics, especially GA4, just requires almost like a full-time dedicated person who knows that platform to get the most out of it.
I'm actually using GA and PostHog as well. So I found PostHog very intuitive.